really late night in Kazakhstan. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our session today. I'm really glad that we were able to collect such a substantial group of people interested in the subject of this event, despite on the holiday season is coming and many already celebrating. So today the event is devoted to Mongolia, and it's called Growing Opportunities in Mongolia, Fostering Business Cooperation and Cross-Border Partnerships. I'm actually quite happy that we have so many new people online. Thank you for experiencing this interest to our organization and to what we are trying to accomplish with Mongolia. I have to admit that since 2016, when basically I first time entered the Mongolian embassy, over almost 8 years, we are observing a gradual growing of our relationships with this country, and quite a lot of events and activities that we initiated together with the embassy, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also with our partners on the ground in Mongolia. So today we will share this information, but the actual trigger for this event to take place was our last or latest mission to Mongolia, which we organized in October this year, and also the celebration of the 50th anniversary of Canada-Mongolia diplomatic relations that was just celebrated in November. So before we start the session, I will make a little bit of household remarks. I ask all the participants, please mute yourself if you are not speaking. This is to avoid any kind of sound interruption. You can see that this event is conducted in a meeting format, and you know, sometimes if you are not muted, everyone can hear what you do on the background. We will have the Q&A session at the very end of this event. And if you have any questions, please send them in chat. I hope you all know how to use it. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see a little icon with chat on it. Just click and type your question. Please indicate to whom of the speakers this question is addressed to simplify our task. If you want to ask your question verbally, there is a tool which called Raise Hand. So please raise your hand before you speak to avoid any kind of messy discussion. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that this event will be recorded. So if you are interested to listen to it, to watch it again, you can do it. And if you have any difficulties to access it on our website, please connect with any of us. We will provide our contacts at the end of the session. And now I would like to start the webinar. I would like to invite for speaking the National Chair of the Canada-Eurasia Chamber of Commerce, Gilles Breton. Gilles had a very active career in Canadian government, foreign affairs, and Organization of Security and Cooperation in Europe. He held the position of Minister Counselor and Deputy Head of the Mission at the Canadian Embassy in Moscow from 2008 to 2012. He held other positions at the Embassy of Moscow since 2000. From 1994 to 1997, he was Deputy Director of OSCE Office for Democratic Institutions and Human Rights, based in Warsaw, Poland. In 1992-1994, he was Senior Advisor at the Ministry of Indian and Northern Affairs of Canada. Mr. Breton also worked at the Canadian Embassy to the Soviet Union during the 80s. So now I pass the word to Gilles. Gilles, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Tatiana.
Gilles, you are muted. Unmute yourself. Gilles, you are muted. Gilles?
Big Brother muted me for a moment here. I did not do that. Anyways, the ghosts of the past, that you mentioned there probably intervene. Well, thank you very much, Tatiana, for your kind words. Welcome to all participants. In preparing for this today, I thought, I have nothing to say. And then I fell into a box of reminders. So the first reminder will be that, of course, that we here at the CECC have a new name, relatively new name. And that new name is to reflect the fact that we're now working in what our colleagues call Greater Eurasia, and Greater Eurasia indeed involves Mongolia. So that's the change of name, in fact, was a reflection of the fact that we have, as Tatiana just mentioned, have moved into Mongolia a few years ago, and now are moving in more actively. Now, the other reminder is that, of course, this is a new name, but of course, as Tatiana just mentioned, I mean, we have highly experienced colleagues who've been working in this region for a while. So it's not like we're doing something new, but we're doing this with a lot of experience. Now, the other reminder I thought of is that as a result of the last discussions we saw a couple of weeks ago in terms of the climate change conferences and so on and so forth, I mean, at this point in time in the international relations sphere, we are faced with a lot of upheavals and political tensions. But of course, we in the business association here have to remind ourselves that our focus is to be on trade diversification, which is a common objective for our two countries. And then, of course, also the sustainable, the promotion of sustainable development practices, which is, of course, in line with the efforts that all countries are making to tackle climate change. So basically, this is also, we have to remind ourselves that, of the long-term objective here that we're all that we share. Now, of course, the other thing that with respect to Mongolia, I thought would be important to mention is that we should not be looking at perhaps with respect to other countries, because to a certain extent, Canada and Mongolia are very similar. So we're not looking at, when we will be looking at assessing our results of trade, we must think that it's not so much the volume of trade, because we will not be trading in commodities, but we will be trading in what I would call high technological level of goods, so and all kinds of services as well. So it's our way of measuring our success will be very different, I think, in the context, because it's not just statistics, but it's I would call it the quality of the trade that will matter most, in the sense that we'll be involved in a trade which is perhaps not so classic or traditional trade. Now, just another reminder, my first contact with Mongolia 40 years ago, when I was working at what was then called External Affairs, is that the first thing I learned about Mongolia is that I did not know anything. So I think we have to remind ourselves of that, is that we have to, in dealing with our relationship with Mongolia, we have to go beyond stereotypes and be more creative, if you want. I mean, I'm sure my colleagues are well aware of that, but I think it's important, and that I think is the purpose of this meeting today, so that we go beyond the stereotypes and we look at our trade relationship in a more creative way. So that's what I'm inviting you to do in the context of this meeting today, and I wish you a very productive meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gilles. And our next speaker is the Ambassador of Mongolia to Canada, Her Excellency Ms. Sarantogos Erdetsot. She has been a career diplomat since 1997. In October 13, 2023, she presented her letter of credence to Governor General of Canada, Mary Simon. Prior to this, Ms. Sarantogos served as Ambassador of Mongolia to the Republic of Korea in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ulaanbaatar. She was the Director General of the Asia and the Pacific Department from 2017, and Director General of the Policy Planning and Coordination Department from 2016. Ms. Sarantogos served in the Embassy of Mongolia in Japan on several occasions, on the positions of Minister Counselor, Deputy Chief of Mission, Economic Counselor, and Third Secretary. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, she started her career as an officer and then worked as third secretary, second secretary, and first secretary in the Asia Department, as well as the Department of Policy Planning. Her significant contributions to the Foreign Service of Mongolia, Ms. Sarantogas was conferred the Order of the Polar Star of Mongolia in 2016 by the President of Mongolia. She received her Executive Dean's Award for Outstanding Academic Achievement from University of Adelaide, as well as the awards of Japan's Foreign Ministry upon winning Japanese language speech contests. Ms. Sarantogas holds postgraduate diplomas and applied economics from the University of Adelaide, Australia, and in international relations, Waseda University, Japan. She graduated the School of Foreign Services, National University of Mongolia, with the Award of Outstanding Academic Achievement, Red Diploma, and the secondary school with Golden Medal. Ambassador, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Tatiana. Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to express my appreciation to the Canada-Eurasia Chamber of Commerce and its dedicated team, with a special acknowledgement for Mr. Breton and Ms. Tatiana Danilovskaya for your passionate dedication and efforts in bringing our businesses, our people, our countries closer together. Mongolia, as many countries in the world, has been facing severe economic challenges due to the disruption of the global supply chain, high inflation, the impact of the COVID pandemic, and global geopolitical situation. However, amid these difficulties, the Mongolian economy has been rapidly recovering, with the real GDP growth of 4.8% in 2022 and reaching 6.9% by the end of the third quarter of 2023. Most sectors, including agriculture, transportation, trade, and services, have reached their pre-pandemic level, while the mining and construction sectors have not yet recovered to their pandemic level yet. We expect that this economic growth will further increase and the inflation rate will decrease, and we anticipate that the foreign investment will grow in 2024. And the recent World Bank's forecast indicates that Mongolia's economic growth is expected to reach at around 6.4% next year. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations, and on the occasion of our anniversary, Her Excellency Batmuch Batsitsig, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Mongolia, paid an official visit to Canada last month. Indeed, it was a very important visit that we implemented this visit, which the previous foreign minister visited Canada in 1999. So you can imagine how important was the foreign minister's visit to Canada this time. And during Her Excellency's visit, we were able to upgrade our relations to the level of comprehensive partnership. This is the high level of partnership that we develop with our major partners. And I'm very happy as ambassador, serving as ambassador of Mongolia to Canada, to see this advancement between our two countries. And I would say that Canada is, for us, irreplaceable, important third neighbor for Mongolia. And I would really also like all of you to pay attention to our joint statement that was issued as a result of this important visit. Honorable Melanie Joly and Her Excellency Batmuch Batsitsig, during Her Excellency's visit, agreed to further expand our bilateral commercial relations and collaboration on projects in agri-food, information technology, and extractive industries, of course, including critical minerals. During the visit, both sides also importantly agreed to further advance the negotiations on the air transport agreement between the two countries. I think many of you are aware that during our Prime Minister's visit to the United States this year, Mongolia and the United States were able to conclude our air transport agreement. And I think that having facilitated the air transportation between the United States and Mongolia, between Mongolia and North America, will also have a good influence to air transportation facilitation between Canada and Mongolia. Parties have further committed to working together in the education sector, specifically in the training of English teachers in local communities and on environmental projects aimed at combating desertification. So the climate change will be another topic for Mongolia-Canada cooperation in the coming years. As of the legal environment for investment and trade, we have a set of useful agreements in place, which is good news for us. Canada and Mongolia signed the Foreign Investment Promotion and Protection Agreement we call FIPA in 2016, and Convention for the Avoidance of Double Taxation and the Prevention of Fiscal Evasion with respect to taxes on income and on capital in 2002. Indeed, not many countries have the double taxation treaty and foreign investment promotion and protection agreement, the dual treaties. The government of Mongolia is committed to creating a predictable, stable, and transparent legal environment aligned with the internationally recognized ESG, Environment, Society, Government principles, and plans to discuss the revision of investment law in the parliament in the coming months. Foreign Investment and Foreign Trade Agency of Mongolia also has reestablished in 2023, which is responsible for the promotion and facilitation of foreign direct investment and foreign trade in the country. As for the mining sector, Minister Jergan Batar is the Minister of Mining and Heavy Industry of Mongolia, is planning to attend the PDAC in 2024. This is the world's premier mineral exploration and mining convention, and Mongolia has a tradition to actively participate in PDAC, and I think that the participation of our mining minister in Gambatar in March next year will be another fruitful event in bringing our cooperation in the mineral sector closer together. And I would also like to mention that during PDAC, the Ministry of Mining and Heavy Industry will organize Mongolia Day, a business forum with the purpose to provide a current update on Mongolian mining sector and highlight major projects. So if there are companies who are interested in participating or attending this Mongolia Day, we welcome you, and you can contact on this to our economic counselor, Mr. Batoyak. The government of Mongolia remains committed to supporting non-mining sector as well, non-mining sector production, diversifying and increasing the number of export products, and is interested in promoting and exporting Mongolian products to the North American markets. And indeed, I agree with Mr. Breton, who mentioned that when it comes to Mongolia-Canada cooperation, we really need to think creative, more creative than maybe when it comes to other countries besides Mongolia, because Mongolia is very unique, unique economic structure. We are different from many countries in Asia, so the conventional methods of expanding trade might be not very much suitable for Mongolia. So I very much agree with the chair who mentioned that we have to think beyond the stereotypes, and that there are the ways we should also think about differently about the ways of measuring our success. So I completely agree with that. With the introduction of Indo-Pacific strategy in November 2022, the government of Canada is actively working to expand Canada's trade network and streamline the economic cooperation framework in the region. And we Mongolians are very appreciative of that. We are happy that as part of this strategy, the government of Canada has appointed a Canada's trade representative and special envoy for the Indo-Pacific region. Most recently, we hope that Canadian investment to expand beyond mining into renewables, clean energy, agriculture, education, and the environmental sectors, among others, in near future. The Embassy of Mongolia aims to foster collaboration not only with the federal government, economic institutions, including Global Affairs of Canada, with whom we working even closer, but also with the provincial government and governments and businesses. Recently, I visited Alberta and had a fruitful meeting with Mayor of the Calgary, Ms. Jyoti Gonden, as well as with the president of the Calgary University. And we've discussed a range of issues, including the areas of cooperation in, for instance, construction sector, road sector, how we can bring Mongolian students here to Canada so that Mongolian students could learn high technologies, cutting edge technologies, and we indeed had very fruitful discussions with Mayor and also with the president of the university. During our discussions, we expressed an interest in organizing a business forum with participation of Mongolian and Canadian entrepreneurs in Alberta. And I would like to suggest that I will be visiting British Columbia in March next year. And I don't mind about the number of people, number of participants. Rather, I would care about the content of the discussions. I would really love to have some kind of business networking event with you and with all who are participating today in this webinar. So I also plan to visit Saskatchewan, Nova Scotia to explore potential collaborations to connect more businesses together. Lastly, I would like to express my gratitude to organizers, speakers, and all participants for joining today's webinar. And I am confident that today's discussions will be fruitful to you all, offer fresh and inspiring ideas to further motivate your businesses in cooperation with Mongolia. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. I was listening for your speech, and there are a couple of things which probably we will need maybe to discuss, including the events in Mongolia that we may consider as the grounds for another business mission, and vice versa, for the Mongolian people to come to Canada as well.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Ambassador. Our next speaker is John Gossel. He is a representative of Global Affairs Canada. Mr. Gossel is Deputy Director at the Trade Team of Indo-Pacific. And this is a department which is currently responsible for Japan, South Korea, and Mongolia. I would not take more time introducing John, and would like to pass the stage to him. John, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Tatiana. And also thank you, Ambassador, for your very comprehensive and very useful briefing for everyone here today. I was going to actually mention quite a few things the Ambassador did. So luckily for me, I'll be able to cut down my presentation. But I will be repetitive in a few areas just to highlight the importance of those areas in our relationship. I can tell you that Canada, we're very honored to be one of the partners of Mongolia and working closely with them across a number of fields. And I would almost like to say that for me, the thing I look at is opportunities. When I think Mongolia, I think opportunities. I can tell you that our relationship is very much built on mutual trust and common values. As the Ambassador noted, This is the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between our two countries. And over the past 50 years, we've been fostering links and promoting cultural exchanges, advancing democracy and political participation, and of course, upholding peace and security on the global stage. As some of you may know, just over a year ago, Canada launched its Indo-Pacific strategy. This is a very ambitious, comprehensive, and integrated policy framework across the government of Canada for Canadian engagement across the entire Indo-Pacific. This strategy recognizes that the future trajectory of the Indo-Pacific will have critical implications for Canada's prosperity, security, public health, and capacity to address climate change. The government has dedicated new investments of nearly $2.3 billion to allow for engagement by departments and agencies across the entire federal government. And we consider Mongolia an important partner in supporting a free, open, and inclusive and sustainable Indo-Pacific. Under the IPS, we're looking at exploring many opportunities across the region and with Mongolia in areas such as peacekeeping and regional security, democracy and human rights, supply chain resilience, trade promotion, as well as cooperation toward global climate commitments, and of course, supporting Mongolia's objectives towards achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We were also very pleased to have recently hosted Foreign Minister Bataseg here in late November, for the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between our countries. And as the ambassador noted, this was the first visit by a Mongolian foreign minister to Canada in 25 years. And but I can assure you that Mr. Joly was very pleased with this visit and was pleased to issue a joint statement with her colleague to further expand the relationship in many areas, but also the bilateral commercial relationship. Both ministers recognize the importance of diversifying trade and investment beyond the extractive sector into new areas such as green building, infrastructure, energy efficiency, climate-smart agriculture, and clean energy. Both ministers also underscored the importance of promoting people-to-people ties and noted the importance of promoting cultural exchanges for better knowledge and understanding. And they also emphasized the importance of education to each country and underlined the increased cooperation between our educational institutions. We are both committed to raising awareness amongst our respective learning institutions of opportunities to pursue studies, exchanges, and work abroad in both countries, and to help facilitate the pursuit of new collaborations. I'm going to talk now, instead of the high-level stuff, I want to get down to now more of the bilateral trade relationship. Previously, we were talking billions of dollars of investments, of Canadian investments in Mongolia, especially in the mining sector. But as many of you know, the Canadian mine that was there has now been sold to another country, and now that falls under their investment category. And so for me, I see this as opportunity because although the level is now much smaller, we're talking about roughly just over $17 million in bilateral trade last year. For me, the sky is the ceiling, so to speak. And while trade is limited, and recent dialogues such as the Canada-Mongolia Roundtable, which was also held last month, we have reiterated the shared commitment to continuing exploring opportunities in the extractive sector as well, and to collaborate in some of the areas I just mentioned, including mineral exploration technologies and mine site productivity, and also green and digital mining solutions. In addition, since combating climate change is a priority for both countries, we're focusing on initiatives that support the development of a green economy for both of us. And also, I want to now move on to government support for Canadian exporters to Mongolia. One of the things that we're doing is helping also sort of link the government of Mongolia with Canadian companies and Canadian ideas, and that's including to reform and improve regulatory framework and to open up more of Mongolia to exploration and development through initiatives such as the Towards Sustainable Mining Framework. This is a recognized sustainability program developed by the Mining Association of Canada that supports mining companies in managing key environmental and social risks. And in June of this year, the Mongolian Mining Corporation became the first Mongolian company to implement this in their operations. And as I mentioned, now I'd like to focus a bit more on the many services and programs that we have to support Canadian exporters to do business in Mongolia. First and foremost, that's Canada's Trade Commissioner Service. We help Canadian companies and organizations of all sizes grow and operate internationally, including in Mongolia. We'll have a trade commissioner who is actually based in Ulaanbaatar, and his job is to help companies prepare for business and to seek opportunities, to find qualified contacts, and connect with funding and support programs for Mongolia and in Mongolia. We also have regional offices across the country, including Toronto and Vancouver. And these offices act as as almost like client management system for hooking Canadian businesses into the Trade Commissioner Service. We have over 190 Trade Commissioner offices across the world, including Canada. And these trade commissioners leverage their extensive knowledge of international opportunities, including in Mongolia, and their strong connections to business networks to guide companies in their global expansion. We also have programs that are available. And if you go to the Trade Commissioner website, you'll be able to find some of these, such as Can Export, which is a popular grants and contributions program that supports Canadian small and medium-sized enterprises, innovators, associations, and communities in pursuing new trade and investment opportunities. This program has now been enhanced by an additional $37 million over the next 5 years to increase Canadian export and investment efforts in the Indo-Pacific. So I highly encourage you to go to the website to check that out and to see what may be applicable. We also have programs that are meant to diversify our trade and to have inclusive trade. So we have special programs to also help women entrepreneurs and also other disadvantaged groups, including Indigenous groups and visible minority groups for trade opportunities throughout the Indo-Pacific and especially in Mongolia. I will end there, and thank you very much for this opportunity to be with all of you today. And I'll turn it back to you, Tatiana.
Thank you, John. Lots of very interesting information, and I think we may connect with you later on for some elaboration on that, if you don't mind.
No, it'd be my pleasure.
Okay, thank you. So we have next 3 speakers. I invited them because I wanted to share a little bit of information about our last business mission to Mongolia, which was one of the most successful in terms of the outcomes for the participants. The group was small, but the program was very comprehensive. And now I would like to invite one of the group members, Berenice Lewis. Berenice represents Alexander Academy. It's a high school from Vancouver. It's one of the partners who works with our organization for many years. But that was the first time Berenice was attending a business mission to Mongolia. Berenice is responsible for admissions and business development at her academy, and I'm very pleased to pass the stage to her. Berenice.
Thank you very much, Tatiana, and thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak in front of this forum. I would like to start by saying that I am the Director of Admissions at Alexander Academy, and I have with me my colleague, Bhikkhu Gambatar, who is also from Mongolia. She'll just say a quick hello, so you may see her as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Bhikkhu Gambatar, and then I'm happy to be here today.
So we were very fortunate that Bilgun and I were able to travel to Mongolia on the business mission that we just had. It was a wonderful experience where we were able to visit several schools, meet some members of parliament, and visit different businesses and agencies that are working within the educational sector. So I would just like to thank all of you for being here, and I'd like to share a little bit about our school. And then at the end of my short presentation, I will put my email address in the chat, and if any of you are interested in finding out more, you're welcome to email me. And if you would like to also speak to Bilgun about anything to do with education in Canada, you could also email her as well. She will put her email in the chat. So I'll just quickly get started. We are a private high school centered in the right in the center of Vancouver for grades 10 to 12. We offer the BC graduation program, which is recognized all over the world. We also have a language program for students who need to develop their English proficiency. We also have a sister school called Alexander College, and we share the same campus with this college. And many of our students, while they're in grade 12, may start taking university courses while in high school. We also have a summer school, and in summer of 2025, we will have a summer camp. Our main focus is to get our students to top universities around the world. Here you can see some of the universities our students are attending. We have a 91% acceptance rate to the top universities in Canada and an 8% acceptance rate, or sorry, 9% acceptance rate around the world. It's through our strong programming and our extracurricular activities that we develop such competent students that make it to these outstanding universities. We have a school of 130 students with only 18 students in a class. We have a homestay environment where our students stay in homestays, which we believe offers a very healthy balance between school and home life. We work with 2 homestay companies that we've worked with for many years. They are boutique companies, much like our school, and we are very familiar with the families and the safety of our homestays provided. We offer a very specialized program where every student in our school has their own individualized learning plan, and we believe that this is also one of the strong factors that leads our students to the top universities, which I just showed you. Of our 130 students, we have 23 countries represented. Here you can see a few countries: Germany, Mongolia, Sweden, Brazil, China, Iran, Uganda, Vietnam, Myanmar, Canada, and just to name a few. We also have very highly qualified and passionate teachers, which spend a lot of individualized time with our students since the class sizes are small. Plus, we have after-school tutoring, clubs, and volunteering to just give the students extra support. Another great feature is that, I'm just seeing that perhaps you do not see the presentation that I've shared, the picture. Can you see the picture, Tatiana?
No, you probably did not share it.
Oh, I did press share. Let me try it again. It's okay. For some reason, I'm not able to share it on the screen. I have pressed shared, but it's not sharing this time.
That's strange because we tried it before.
Yes, we did.
Hi, Bernice, could you cancel sharing and try it again?
Yeah, sorry. Can you see it now?
No. Oh,
yeah,
yes. Yeah. Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just briefly say these were the programs I spoke to you about. These are the clubs that I spoke to you about. Our student diversity is here, our teachers, and then, of course, the top universities. We have scholarships, many of our students, we do not offer, we do have a small scholarship that we do offer to students from Mongolia. But most of our students, when they do go on to post-secondary institutions, they do apply for scholarships. And in the last 6 months, since 2018, our students have received $500,000 in scholarships to the top universities in Canada. And here are the universities that our students are currently attending, and that, or the students that are attending universities around the world. These are the international students, international universities our students are attending. So I will, in our chat box, I will add my email information, and Bhikkhu will also add hers. And you are more than welcome to contact us at any time if you have any questions, wanting to know more perhaps about Canadian education or about our high school. Thank you, Tatiana.
Thank you, Berenice. To the audience, I just wanted to mention that actually it was quite a bit of interest from the Mongolian side to the school. Although it's a private school, so basically it's not the free admission or anything like that. But as far as I understand, there were a few new students recruited during this visit, and there was some meetings with the recruiting agencies and basically the partnership groups, which could be an instrumental for this high school to actually further penetrate into the Mongolian market. I don't know if you would like to add anything, Bernice, in terms of your finding in Mongolia regarding the educational opportunities.
I think the biggest finding that we found was the need for English, for the teachers to learn English. That was something that we found when we visited the schools, the high schools, that a lot of the teachers were very eager to learn English. We noticed that the students are also very proficient in English, especially the younger kids. So English is definitely on the rise from what we saw. There was also a lot of interest. However, many of the students were looking for full scholarships. So unfortunately, there are very few schools in Canada that offer full scholarships to students. When we spoke to members of Parliament, they were also looking for scholarships from us, but unfortunately, we only offer a very small scholarship. So funding definitely seems to be the biggest issue that the Mongolian students would be facing if they wanted to study abroad. And also funding from our part for Mongolian students did not seem to be sufficient enough. So this is one of the areas where we could face some challenges. Other than that, there was a keen interest. The students were very interested in our school. The agencies were also very interested. And the government officials were also interested in Canadian education and also in our pedagogical style and how we deliver education. So these were the main findings that I would say we encountered on our trip.
Thank you, Berenice. It's a very, very interesting, very important remarks from your side. Okay.
Thank you. We will both have to leave the meeting now, so we would like to thank you very much for the opportunity. And both Bilgun and I have put our emails in the chat, so please feel free to reach out if you have any more questions about teacher training, about Canadian education, or about Alexander Academy.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Tatiana.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Dmitry Alimayev. Dmitry is currently situated in Kazakhstan, so it's really late night down there where he is. He is representing the company called Cannon Pipe and Supply. It's a Alberta-based company, but he is responsible for business development in Eurasia region, including Mongolia. So Dmitry, the stage is yours. Please share your finding and your company information.
Thank you, Tatiana. Your Excellency, dear colleagues, first of all, thank you very much for such a great opportunity of participation in such event. My name is Dmitry, and I'm Business Development Manager in Cannon Pipe and Supply. I myself located in Almaty, Kazakhstan, and our branch in Kazakhstan is covering all so-called Asian belt, starting from Turkmenistan to Mongolia. So a very brief introduction of my company. The Cannon Pipe and Supply Company was established in '92 in Alberta, Canada. In '94, there was established a liaison office of Cannon Pipe and Supply in Kazakhstan. And later on, in 2004, it was reestablished as a 100% commercial activity company registered by Kazakhstani law, and having the independent policy of making business. So initially, companies started to be involved in delivery of Western technologies and materials and the instruments and equipment from Canada and United States for oil and gas industry. But starting from 2010, we've decided to try our efforts and to try the good chances in energy and mining sector. And we were very surprised that we became very, very successful in this direction. And for us, Mongolian market and Mongolia itself, up to October this year, was a kind of white spot. We had no absolutely no any kind of experience of working in Mongolia, no any kind of knowledge in mining sector. Only one thing we know, that Mongolian country income is 93% from mining. And this figure shocked us, and we decided that Mongolia has to be our goal for market development, for our business development. Another one, it's very important, we're quite happy to be involved in CECC business in Mongolia, because it was our first experience of working together with CECC, and we were absolutely admired, and we were absolutely surprised of the country itself. It's quite modern, and for us, for Kazakhstan office, it's quite easy. It might be quite easy to make a business in Mongolia, because culturally, by nation, but by way of living, Kazakhstan and Mongolia are quite close to each other. So we from Kazakhstan understand mentality of Mongolia much more easier, and we understand the way of making business much more easier, and we do exactly clearly understand the ways of contribution we can give to Mongolian business with the development of mining, mainly mining sector. The support and the all the events which were held in Mongolia were absolutely brilliant. We even did not expect such deep involvement in the possibilities of business development in Mongolia. I'm not the politician. I'm not the how to say, humanitarian person. I'm just talking about making business there, about doing business there. And the opportunities are really enormous. Basing on the meetings which were organized by CECC and which also was a big surprise for us, with the great help of the governmental structures of Mongolia. And for us, it was absolutely new experience to cooperate with governmental structures in so close way. And that was really amazing. And starting from October, we already had a lot of video conferences with Mongolian enterprises, for example, in Erdenet, in Tavantovoy, and with our possible partners with the commercial organizations in Mongolia. And just literally tomorrow, I might have a very, very big web seminar with Erdenet mining. And we are quite happy that all the efforts, first of all, CECC have done, all the efforts we've done in Mongolia, just brought to us such a great fruits, let's say. So Mongolia, yes, really is a very, very specific country with the just small population, but these small populations, but a very, very big level of natural resources provides us with the idea that we have to be and we will be very successful on this way. So, and just I cannot wait the next event in Mongolia because we already have some plans for meetings by ourselves in Mongolia next year. And we can't wait the new event, which will be organized by CECC in Mongolia next year. And we, of course, we will take part in this very, very actively. So that's very, very brief and simple introduction of what we've done and who we are. So if you'd like to ask any questions, you have the chat, and also now I will leave my WhatsApp number and my electronic mail, so you can communicate with me independently in any time you like, in any time you have any questions arose. Thank you very much, Tatiana. That's all from my side.
Thank you, Dmitry. I'm very happy that all the meetings which you had in Mongolia actually have continuation. So good luck. I hope the next year will be prosper for you. Okay, so our next speaker is Oybek Shakirov. He is a director of KS Group Canada. He did not participate at the mission himself, but it was two of his colleagues from Tashkent who attended the mission. And I asked them to pass the information through Oybek because it's a little bit unusual sector for, I would say, business development in Mongolia, since everyone is mainly going there if they have something to offer in mining or heavy industry. Oybek is focused on a little bit different things, and I'm pleased that he is able to speak about it. Oybek is yours.
Tatiana, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Tatiana, for arranging this webinar and for the opportunity to speak. So my name is Oybek. I'm the director of KS Group in Canada. We established almost 2 years ago, and almost from day one, we are members of CECC, and CECC has helped us a lot during our early stages of our business and still helping us with business development in Canada. So KS Group has been established in 2015 in Uzbekistan. Our headquarters are still in Uzbekistan. We are not in mining business. We are a trading company. We started trading furniture-related products, then expanded to construction. Then we are providing also construction services, architecture and design services, logistics, and we also have textile products to offer. In our headquarters in Uzbekistan, we currently employ more than 250 full-time employees in our main trading division, and also more than 400 employees in our construction division. So currently we are more than a trading company. We work with our partners to develop our business together, to be their local representatives in their countries and in our countries that we are present. And we provide different trainings, and we try to prosper our businesses together with our partners. So with regards to Mongolian forum, so again, I'd like to thank CECC for arranging this forum in October. We sent 2 of our colleagues from Uzbekistan. It was very fruitful. We attended this forum from both Uzbekistan and Canadian perspective. So we have had very fruitful meetings with construction sector representatives, government representatives, as well as consumer goods distributors and producers. And as Dmitry mentioned earlier, I would also like to mention that support from the government has been really helpful before the visit, during and after the forum in Mongolia. And one of the items I would like to mention that we're working on currently is food product export to Canada. We've had a very good meeting with local meat producer. My colleagues visited their plant. They were impressed with the production, and now we are working with that company to develop export opportunities to Central Asia, and I'm working here in Canada as well in that direction. Well, also we are exploring opportunities on distributing construction-related materials, and also, again, food imports to Mongolia. It's both directions. We're working in both export and import directions. So that's a very brief information about the company and what we are doing. And in general, we are not limiting us with construction and our core business, and we are looking at different opportunities. And I believe cooperation with Mongolia, with help of CECC, Mongolian Embassy, and government agencies, would allow us to expand our business into new areas like consumer goods, food, and so on.
You are back. To underline our event today, I thought I can put some kind of information which would have show a little bit of the progress of our activities with Mongolia. If you don't mind, I will share a small presentation. Okay. Can you see her?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So what I wanted to show basically is a little bit of our experience with Mongolia over the last years. So as I mentioned, we first entered the Mongolian Embassy in 2016, and it was amazing how much of support I practically found at the embassy just from the very beginning. And following that, we started working with the embassy and with a number of partners on the Mongolian side on multiple projects. So, of course, as Mongolian major sector is mining. So mining was a beginning of everything. We had representatives of Mongolian embassy and the government of Mongolia at most of our brand events in Vancouver. Usually it happens in January on the margins of the roundup organized by Association of Mineral Explorations BC. And our other brand event is the Eurasian Mining Conference happening on the margins of PDAC in Toronto. So that events were attended since 2016 practically every year. We had very substantial events with Mongolian government. The illustration for that, I think, could be the last year PDAC, where Mongolian government has a big delegation of the government and business representatives. A few years ago, we signed an engagement agreement with our partner. It's the mining consulting company called TrickTech. They are now our official representatives in Mongolia, and we are actually quite impressed about the involvements and assistance which they provide to our organization and to our members. We also have very good relationships with a number of key institutions in Mongolia, such as the Union of Economic Geologists of Mongolia, Mongolian Business Council, also with the National Mining Association of Mongolia, National Chamber of Commerce, and we are going to further develop these relationships. In terms of the events, it's quite a lot of everything. So basically, we've been doing smaller events, such as meetings with, for instance, during the outreach visit of the Canadian ambassadors to Mongolia when they were visiting to Canada, and we had a possibility to discuss the opportunities there. We organized bilateral roundtables within our mining events, and also very focused, tailored internship programs for the Mongolian professionals who would like to come to Canada and learn about Canadian government and business operations. I also would like to mention that within few years, until I think last year, we enjoyed a support of CanExpert for Association. I have to admire that this is a very good and very functional tool that allows us to facilitate much more opportunities within the business ties and bilateral economic activities, because it simplifies such things like, for instance, even coverage the transportation costs, which are quite substantial, especially now when you're traveling between Canada and Mongolia. So that is something which we would like to apply for within the next tranche of CanExpert funding, and fingers crossed it will work out this time. In terms of the industry sectors, which we figured out in Mongolia as the opportunities, first of all, of course, it's everything which related to mining in a very broad sense. Then it's energy and power generation, green tech, sustainable and environmental technologies, advanced machine engineering, aviation, industrial automation, and satellite navigation. To me, it was a very interesting reaction of the market when we brought last year the company, the major Canadian company, de Havilland Aircraft Canada, and they had a number of very fruitful discussions with Canadian airlines, with big and smaller airlines, and we really hope that this discussion will develop into the real business deals. The next thing which I would like to mention is an interest from Mongolian side towards the education, not just standard classic education, but also professional, vocational, and continuous education. And we are planning to further develop this as well on multiple levels. Also, construction and building materials have quite a good potential there. Agriculture and agri-food, it was also a surprise for me that actually Kaya's group guys who were interested to learn about the possibilities to purchase halal meat from Mongolia. They were actually visited the producers of halal meat, and they told me that actually everything which was done there was done just exclusively well. So they, as an expert in this area, they did not have any comments that would have been negative regarding the company they visited. And of course, everything which is related to consulting, engineering and business consulting, financial services, immigration, and legal advisory, which have pretty good opportunities on the ground in Mongolia as well. So here is the list of companies who visited Mongolia within our business missions. So far, we put together 3 in 2019, 2022, and 2023. And you can see that some of these companies are pretty substantial. Some are just small consulting agencies, but practically everyone within this list found their interest in the Mongolian market. And that was basically a small overview of my experience in Mongolia as the regional director of Canada-Eurasia Chamber of Commerce. Here is the contact information for myself and my colleague in Toronto. So please get in touch with us if you have more questions or would like to discuss your participation in our activities in Mongolia. Mongolia is a beautiful country. I absolutely love it. So that's basically it on my side. To complete our event, I would like to ask if there are any kind of questions. Just to start, because I personally have question or maybe a remark. One of the issues, and maybe this is to the Mongolian embassy, and also if John Gozel is still here. The major issue which us as the organizer of kind of business exchanges with Mongolia, we figured out in the last couple of years is difficulties to actually get Canadian business visas for Mongolian visitors. And this is something which I brought up at my first meeting with the Mongolian ambassador this year. And as far as I understand, it was also discussed between the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mongolia and Minister Honorable Mrs. Jolie. So do you know, Ambassador, if there are any kind of changes within this kind of situation?
Well, thank you, Tatiana. Good news is that we are in close contact with Global Affairs Canada. And as I mentioned earlier to you, we've been raising this issue I mean, at the different levels with the Global Affairs of Canada. And they understand us wonderfully. And we agree on the fact that this is one of the, impediments in actually expanding the range of people who are involved. Mongolians who are involved with Canada and Canadians who are involved with Mongolia. So this is a real obstacle, but I mean, every country has immigration policy, and from the point of view of the Mongolian government, we also should respect the regulations of the Canadian government, because it's not only about Mongolian citizen, and we understand that the overall policy, but within that framework, within this understanding, Mongolian Embassy, Global Affairs of Canada, Mongolian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we are all working, we agreed to work even closer in order to bring more Mongolians to Canada. And what we can do together, like for instance, we can share informations about especially those who are attending official events. So we agreed to work even closer, and I do appreciate that the government of Canada, in particular GAC, is very much aware of the situation, and they are also trying their best to make visa facilitation for Mongolians easier. And I think that gradually the situation is being improved. I believe that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for this very inspiring comment, because we are expecting few groups of Mongolian businessmen, educational institutions, and the government officials who wanted to come and learn from Canadian experience. Thank you so much, Ambassador. So I don't see any questions in the chat. I see some of the, okay, there are a few. Okay, so if there are any questions coming up, to finalize our event today, I would like to once more thank everyone who participated, who experienced an interest to this absolutely beautiful country. Our organization is planning a number of events in Canada and on the ground in Mongolia. We probably will do our traditional already mission to the Mongolian mining and oil in September, October. Hopefully it will be a broader group, as we usually do, not just focused on mining, to just see if what are the opportunities for the other market sectors and how Canadians are from these other sectors are feeling about it. So using this opportunity of Christmas coming, I would like to pass our best wishes to everyone who celebrates Christmas and everyone, I believe, who celebrates New Year, and hope to continue working with you in 2024. Get in touch with us if you would like to connect with our representatives in Mongolia. Just let us know. We will be happy to bring you in touch with them. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you very much, all. Thank you.
Happy holidays.